Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Chat. This is Dr. Jane Ruby. Good morning. It's Thursday. It is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. It's a historical date. And it is my sister's birthday, so happy birthday, sis. I have a beautiful cup. You know, Isaiah is one of my favorite books in the Bible. And this one has actually the scripture, Isaiah 40, verse 31, and it is the actual verse, got to turn it, is, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Man, you ain't lying. Every day I pray, every day I talk to the Lord, because things are getting a little ramped up, and I think you can all feel that. So let me thank, this cup is from a set of cups from Rena. Remember, she actually sent me 6 cups. We've gone through 2 of them. What I'm doing is going every other cup so that some of the other coffee cups can get in there. But Rena, yeah, thank you so much again. And, cheers to you, my friend. Thank you so much for the beautiful cup. There's hope, faith, love. You'll see them all coming. Okay, I was going through I actually stumbled on some old cards that when I was going through my treatment for breast cancer, which was a horrific experience. As you all know, we've talked about allopathic medicine. And I won't relive it here, but I came upon this beautiful box that I had kept a lot of cards in. My brother was teaching a Sunday class for children in his church. And he said to them, let's do a project. He said, I have a sister. She has got cancer. She's doing well and having treatments, but it's a scary time. Would like all of you, it was around Christmas time too. I would like, if you guys would like to do a project and make her a card. So there were about 7 or 8, maybe 10 of the kids. And one of them raised their hands. It was just so sweet and said, how did she get cancer? She's a doctor. Out of the mouths of babes, very sweet. And that kind of reflects, a little bit of the difficulty that people have believing that, bad things happen to good people and that some people could do what they're doing to the rest of humanity. But I came upon, I'm not big on the saints. I'm not really a practicing Catholic, but out of a card, my mother sent me a card every single day to keep me cheered up during my treatment for many months. And in one of the cards that I was going through last night fell out Saint Anthony, the patron saint of miracles of all miracles. So I just thought that was special to share with you. First of all, it's from my mom, who's now hopefully looking over me from up there. And we need the Lord's miracle, believe me. And then I found this card that someone had sent me, a friend of the family, years ago. And the saying on the card I thought was very special. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day, saying, I will try again tomorrow. So a lot of things are happening. A lot of attacks. People are attacking each other. People are trying to discredit each other. And that's a tricky avenue for me to navigate. Trying to figure out still trying to find the truth and figure out who's real, who's not. Because of the confusion and gaslighting, there are these little psychological operations where somebody will be a victim, I'm in a foreign country and somebody's trying to kill me. And another one, I just lost every last bit of my database, but never said for several days that he already had it backed up somewhere else. It's just to gin up, it's an operation. It's a theater. to gin up people, to get them, to look at each other, look at the different players in many different ways, right? So for me, who's been going along, I'm the original vetter and, figuring out who's an operative and who seems to be really for good. But now for me to do that, when everybody's throwing slings and arrows, looks like I'm just part of the slings and arrows, right? So I like this card. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day. So there's this rumor that's being resurrected, apparently. And this is why I say to you, corroborate, vet. There's this rumor started by someone who's really losing it, who's getting, I think, pretty depressed, who's lost a lot of following, and falsely accusing me, disparaging me, the typical, but falsely accusing me of supporting Pfizer. We got that thing, and nobody in their right mind would believe that, who has done who's followed me. So I want to bring up the topic of corroboration, because a lot of you said, well, how do I know, Dr. Jane? Well, corroborate it. And it does take a little time, but not a lot of time. What do I mean by corroborate? It's really the basis of the little book I wrote in 2017, A Sea of New Media. I might not get 100% of the truth or the reality every time I go through social media, but if 10,000 people or 100,000 people are showing a picture of something, or not just replicating it, but they're there on the scene, there are multiple people, there's a better chance that something is what I think it is, right? What it's being portrayed as. But if it's a one-off here or there, you've got to chalk it up, right? Because that person's meager whatever's left of his following, one person said, yeah, I've always known she was, all for Pfizer. She must be working for them in a shill. And, that's not somebody who knows any of my work. So rather than defend it and give it oxygen, it's just, it raised the issue for me, the larger issue of what's going on right now, that the ramping up of the propaganda is at an all-time high. I want you to know that. If you start out from that premise, that gives you a foundation of caution, where you will say, okay, this person says A about this other person over here. Let me look into that. Let me look into some of the things that he or she has said regarding this topic, right? Somebody said the other day, you're a Trump lover, you suck up. Well, if this was 2016, I'd say, yeah, you're absolutely right. Guilty, But in the last year or two, I've been highly critical of President Trump. First of all, I don't believe there's going to be an election. I don't believe there was an election in 2020. But the persistence with which he pushed the shots, and I know I'm going to get the ankle biters saying, yeah, but he's got it all under control and he's got to do that because, okay, if that makes you feel better. Could have said nothing at all. Could have minimized it. Everybody should do what they want to do. Talk to the experts. I'm not a doctor. For a guy who actually came out and was advocating for hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and what sounded like chlorine dioxide. Remember that whole bleach thing? They got it twisted. For a guy who was so into all that, all of a sudden, man, he became take a shot. I love the shots. I'm the father of the shots. I mean, come on. How do you flip? That's 180 degrees. Just like former lefties. A lot of people in the health freedom movement are former progressives. Now, I don't personally believe with my education in psychology, my PhD is in psychology, I don't personally believe somebody can legitimately and honestly and earnestly flip their values 180 degrees. Go from left wing to right wing, right? That's 180s. That's a total flip. How do you do that with all your values? A lot of value differences. So you got to, that's what that kicks off an initial suspicion for me. Not pointing a finger at anybody for any particular reason, but there were people like in DC, I'm not going to name them, who were big in social media, much bigger than me. And I kind of cut my teeth on those associations and friendships. I mean, they really started the whole, movement. Who were, right-wing, conservative, Goldwater values. And then you learn later on, they do some weird things down the road. That doesn't make sense. What? Someone would say, well, she's a former progressive. Or he was always left-wing. He voted for Obama twice, but now he's seen the light. That doesn't ring with me. That doesn't. Now, I'm not saying, most of us were, Democrats or like classic liberal for 10 minutes in college, okay? I get it. But come on. As a 30, 40, 50-year-old, give me a break. That's rooted values, okay? One of the things that Dr. Bregan said, and probably got in trouble for about Malone, was that he was a lifelong progressive. So is Steve Kirsch. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Something to be aware of. So I want to talk about, speaking of Malone, I want to talk about Dr. Michael Yeadon. Here's another reason why you have to look into people. You have to vet and corroborate on your own. Because a lot of you come into my social media and say X, Y, or Z about somebody, and you clearly don't know, and you don't even have to go back 100 years. I'm talking about going back to 2020, 2021. What were they doing? What were they posting publicly? What were they saying in their speeches? This is not hard. While you still have the internet, this is not hard. I don't know if a lot of you know this or not, but Dr. Michael Yeadon, excuse me, came out of Team Enigma. Remember Team Enigma? Craig Pardicooper did How Bad Is My Batch? Sasha Latapova. Oh, they're all independent researchers and analysts, but they formed this Team Enigma. Team Enigma has a lot of people you don't know. They're underground. You had the ethical hackers who went into the Pfizer and Moderna systems and were able to tell that the companies assigned up to 1.5 million doses per lot number, which told them that a lot of these vials are not out in circulation yet. God knows what they are going to carry, okay? Maybe they're empty right now and they can put anything they want in there to keep the confusion and gaslighting going. But the point is, Dr. Yeadon, really, when you think about it, Dr. Yeadon and I are the only two true pharma insiders. I don't want to point a finger at anybody in particular. There are a lot of people out there like Brooke Jackson. She worked for a contract research organization. Yes, they had access. Yes, they had clearances, kind of that equivalent in pharma to run the studies and all that. But let me tell you something. As Dr. Sherry Jackson calls it, when the excrement hits the portable cooling device, the companies would say, could we have all the vendors leave the room? And they'd leave the room, and then the company would say, here's what's going down. We got a problem. We're being raided in our offices by the feds. They would never say that in front of a vendor. So vendors don't know everything as an insider. And Dr. Yeadon and I, as far as I could tell, in terms of coming forward, being really visible, are the only true pharma insiders, right? In the belly of the beast. And for many years. I think he was 30 years, I was 20 years. It's a long time to be in an industry. Okay. So I found it very curious about a month ago that Malone publicly attacked Yeadon? Bring the receipts. What are you doing? You're setting us back. Red flag on the field. Pay attention when somebody does that. Pay attention when somebody on your side tries to take out a real hero on your side, like Dr. Michael Yeadon, who's risked his life from day one. I've known Dr. Yeadon since late 2020. I've worked with Dr. Yeadon side by side, not publicly, not all the time where you'd see us. Beware when somebody on your side attacks somebody on your side, like a Bregan hero and a Yeadon hero. And I won't call myself a hero, but a dedicated warrior like myself. So they pulled a little cute one. You know, you got this, unfortunately, I see Dr. David Martin in the lineup now with the usual suspects. You see the flyer. It's Cole, Corey, Malone, all Malone's handpicked buddies. And now you see Dr. Martin there, unfortunately. Dr. Martin was into the EU presentations long before he hooked up with, Malone. You put your face on a flyer with Malone? That tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. You'll be judged by the company you keep. And it's unfortunate because the fruits of Dr. David Martin, the things he's put out have been pretty stunning and pretty important. So I don't get it, unless they're just trying to, get into his ego and puff him up. Oh, you can get these, that's the perks, when you're in the Malone circle. You get to go to all the big meetings and everything. In fact, Todd Callender had invited me to meet with Andrew Bridgen about 6-8 months ago. And I was just about to. And I saw him in a photo in England with Malone. And I said, I'm out. No way. Not going there. He's already been stained. But you see this flyer for this UK thing? And by the time they got to Dr. Yeadon, the technology magically dropped. The internet dropped. Something went wrong. They called it a glitch. Funny how the glitch never happens when Malone's up there, right? Pontificating, right? With his tiny little eyes and his big mouth that goes nowhere. That's interesting, isn't it? The internet never goes out. And then it was just a weird, the videos were weird. And you got Cole sitting there, the dutiful, backup forensic. I don't know what he does there. And Corey, who thinks he's doing something good, but by now he should know the company he's keeping. And Kirsch. Okay. Let me tell you something. If they offered me to speak, I don't know what would be the greatest opportunity. I don't know. If that was the lineup, no way. I don't care. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't communicate to you that I was with them. And I've turned down offers, not from any of them, but I've turned down offers from people they're heavily associated with for sponsorships for my show that could have amounted to huge 6 figures. But and forget the audience, because I never really gave a crap what anybody thought about me. You should know that about me by now. I really don't care. The critics are ankle biters, as far as I'm concerned. They're little, they're low, and they got an agenda. I don't care. If I cared about that, I would have been out day 2. Okay? But absolutely not. It's at the end of the day, I'm accountable to me. I have to be able to look me in the eye. I have to be able to rest my head on the pillow and say, I did my best. I'm going to try harder tomorrow. I did my best, did everything I could do, and I didn't sell out. I didn't sell out. So many wonderful people sold out. You can see it. You can see it. It's pathetic. It's almost like yesterday or the day before on this whole, they're elevating Ken Paxton, who sat on his ass all these months while our country's being invaded through his state. All of a sudden, they're elevating him to hero status because he's bringing a civil suit against Pfizer. Okay, knock yourself out. The only thing I want to warn the public about is, you want to believe in these suits? That's great. I believe the money already passed through these big companies like Pfizer and Moderna and went right back into the DOD and into Congress's back pocket. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not bad. I think I sue them? No, you're right. I don't think we should sue them. You know what I think we should do with them? I think we should nationalize them, break them down, annihilate them, fire everybody, seize their assets, and dismantle them. Okay? And then I've heard some other people running for office going, well, we ought to who was saying it? God, I don't want to say the wrong name. Yesterday in social media was saying, we have to reform. Oh, I think it was RFK Jr. Oh yeah, that Trojan horse. I think we have to reform the FDA. Reform it? Yeah, good luck. It's the DOD, dude. You're going to reform it. That sounds good for a vote. That sounds good. So, moving on a little bit, I'm going to wrap this up shortly. I support Dr. Yeadon. We've communicated privately. He appreciated when I stuck up for him a few weeks ago when Malone attacked him. I publicly put out a tweet and called Malone out for it at my own risk. And he wrote to me privately and appreciated it. He didn't have to. He doesn't have to thank me. That's what I wish more of the frontline doctors would do, to call out Malone, who's attacking good people on his own side. There wasn't anything more truthful that he ever said, Malone, than when he replied to somebody who said, why are you suing Dr. Jane Ruby? And he said, why are you suing somebody on our own side? And Malone's reply was, we're not on the same side. And I thought to myself, you're right. I'm on the side of telling babies and elderly not to take this from day one. I'm on the side that didn't take the shots. I'm on the side that if I had created or been involved in any way in developing the mRNA shots or technology or vaccines, whatever it is, I would have dedicated my life in the last year. I wouldn't have left the lab until I found a reversal or an antidote. Oh, it costs too much money. Sell a horse. Sell a horse. It's for humanity, right? You better believe he's not on the same side. When he said, we're not on the same side, he said it. But I know the side I'm on. So if he's saying he's not on that side, well, which side are you on? It's crazy. Monday, December 11th, this coming Monday, 10 a.m. Western District, Federal Court, Western District of Virginia. Judge Norman Moon, Senior Justice, will be hearing the motions my motion to dismiss on jurisdiction, and my motion to dismiss on failure to state a claim, which means there's no merit. It's the equivalent. And then we'll also be hearing the motions from Dr. Bregan and Mrs. Bregan's legal counsel. So pray for us, pray for justice, and you can tune in. I will post again Sunday night. I will post again the Zoom link. But the reason it's not, if it was in person, my attorneys and I would have been there in person. I want you to know that. But the judge and the attorneys were trying to get the date on the calendar, and the judge is a district judge, so he has multiple regions in his district. And so to coordinate one particular court for all these lawyers, with a date would have been way too much. And this is nonsense, has dragged on long enough. So pay close attention to that. Stay tuned. Regardless of how it goes Monday, there won't be a decision that I know of right then and there. Usually judges then deliberate and take whatever time they want to make their ruling. But regardless of, the event itself and whatever, the judge says in summary or whatever, we may have an announcement to make. We may do a press conference. The world needs to know that this guy just overplayed his hand. His agenda is more than, butthurt feelings. The guy's got over 1 million followers. He thinks I've damaged him with my little 50,000 on Twitter. Come on. So prayers up. Back to one quick thing about Dr. Eden. If you want to see or read his speech, I may put it in my own Substack, I don't know, or a link to it. I did post it on my Telegram because they allow a lot more text. So it was brilliant and it gets to the truth, and I stand with him 100%. So don't forget, corroborate, verify. I will do another, sorry for the missed coffee chat on Tuesday. There was a lot going on, and I never miss those things unless I have to. So thank you for your patience. Thanks for your support. If you want to support me in general, I have a Give, Send, Go. That is givesendgo.com/truth in medicine. You won't forget that. And if you want to support the legal defense, of course, that's givesendgo.com/protect Dr. Jane. That's protect Dr. Jane. Have a wonderful, and everybody's busy and shopping, and let's focus on the joy of the season. Happy Hanukkah, first night of Hanukkah to everyone who's celebrating. And the Christmas season has begun. Merry Christmas. Let's remember to find the joy while we're still planning and preparing for whatever is coming. Okay, guys, talk to you soon. Tomorrow night's Dr. Jane Ruby show. Got a fun little natural health education thing happening, and then coffee chat on Saturday. So happy birthday, sis. Have a great morning and a great day, everyone. God bless. Hi, everyone. Dr. Jane Ruby here with a quick message on how you should be protecting your retirement funds, your 401k, your IRAs. Did you know that you can protect them with physical gold and silver to avoid losing everything that you've built over your lifetime? Please call the experts at Augusta Precious Metals at 888-836-1890. At least talk to an expert, learn more about how you can protect what you've built up so that if things go crazy, as we know they will in this economy, you've got some of your investments protected with tangible physical gold and silver. Every bit as valuable as real estate, something you can touch, they can't turn off, with a flick of a switch. Call the people at Augusta Precious Metals. They're wonderful. They will educate you on what this is all about and what you need to do. And they will also provide you with some warnings about how to protect yourself from other companies that may be spreading lies and scamming you. That's Augusta Precious Metals at 888-836-1890.